হ্যালো স্টুডেন্টস, এখন যে কবিতাটি আলোচনা করব তার নাম হচ্ছে দ্য ট্রিজ। পোয়েটেস Adrienne Rich, born in 16th May 1929 and died 27th March 2012. She lived for 82 years. She was an American poetess, essayist and feminist. Feminist means she advocated for the female rights. She led many movements for female rights. She won Bollingian Prize, National Book Awards for Poetry and many other awards. Her famous poem is Divine into Wreck. Divine into Wreck. She wrote in free verse. Her lines are more open, loose and flexible, so we can easily understand it. Her contemporary poets are Audre Lorde, Marilyn Hacker and many others. This poem, The Tree, was published in 1978 as a part of her collection The Dream of a Common Language. It is a 32 lines poem divided into 4 stanzas. First stanza consists of 7 lines, then 9 lines, then 8 lines, then again 8 lines. The poem is a protest. And she is very critical about our attitude to trees and nature and natural aspects. Now, come to the poem. In the first stanza, she said, the trees inside are moving out into the forest. The trees inside are moving. মানে বাড়ির ভেতরে যে গাছগুলো আছে সেগুলো বাইরে বেরিয়ে আসছে, the forest that was empty in all these days. জঙ্গল এতদিন খালি ছিল. where no birds could sit. যেখানে কোনো পাখি ছিল না বসবে সে গাছের ডালে, গাছ না থাকার জন্যে. নো ইনসেক্ট হাইড. কোনো পোকামাকড়ও গাছ না থাকার জন্যে কোথাও লুকোতে পারতো না বা আশ্রয় নিতে পারতো না. নো সান বারি ইটস ফিট ইন দ্য শ্যাডো. এবং গাছের আশেপাশে সূর্যের আলো গাছের পাতার ফাঁক দিয়ে এসে এবং সূর্যের আলোকে গাছের পাতারা চাপা দিতে পারতো না. বাড়ি মানে কবর দেওয়া না, সূর্যের আলো এসে জঙ্গলের মাটিতে পড়ছে, সেই সূর্য আলোককে গাছের পাতা যেন চাপা দিয়ে দিচ্ছে. দ্য ফরেস্ট দ্যাট ওয়াজ এমটি অল দিজ নাইটস. এত রাত্রি ধরে জঙ্গল যেটা খালি ছিল, উইল বি ফুল অফ ট্রিজ বাই মর্নিং. সকালবেলা গাছে ভরে যাবে. শি ইজ ভেরি ক্রিটিক্যাল about the non-presence of trees in the jungle or in the forest. She says the trees are breaking confinement. The trees are breaking confinement and it is a return to nature. Really, it is a return to nature. Our houses, our garden, our rooftops are not the place for the tree to inhabit it or resides. The forests are then lifeless without the trees, birds, insects, sunlights also. Without these natural aspects, forest is of no use. There is no existence of forest with birds, animals, insects, sunlights, trees, fruits, flowers, etc. and etc. And this return symbolizes restoration of balance and freedom. This return to nature actually declares the balance and freedom. The balance of nature and the freedom of natural aspect which we confined for our interest or for our enjoyment. This is what she said in the first stanza. In the second stanza, All night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks. সারা রাত গাছের যে এগুলো রুটগুলো মূলগুলো সেগুলো নিজেদের বিচ্ছিন্ন করার চেষ্টা করছে যেখানে তারা অবস্থান করছে সেখান থেকে। ইন দ্য ভেরান্ডা ফ্লোর, বারান্দার মেঝেতে, হয় বারান্দার মেঝেতে গর্ত করে গাছগুলোকে পোতা ছিল বা টবে ছিল, সেখান থেকে তারা নিজেদের মুক্ত করার চেষ্টা করছে। দ্য লিভস স্ট্রেন টুয়ার্ডস দ্য গ্লাস, বারান্দাটা কাঁচে ঘেরা, সেখান দিয়ে তারা সেই কাঁচের দিকে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। স্মল টুইগস স্টাফ উইথ এক্সারশন, ছোট ছোট নরম ডাল সব ভেঙে বেরিয়ে যেতে চাইছে। লং ক্র্যাম্পড বাউ শাফলিং আন্ডার দ্য রুফ, বড় বড় বাউ হচ্ছে মেন ব্রাঞ্চেসকে বলে। শাফলিং আন্ডার দ্য রুফ, ছাদের নিচে তারা এক ধরনের অসুস্থ জীবনযাপন করছে এবং তাদের এই অ্যাক্টিভিটি দিয়ে দে আর ট্রাইং টু রিকভারিং ফ্রম দেয়ার ইলনেস আন্ডার দ্য রুফ লাইক নিউলি ডিসচার্জ পেশেন্ট। এটা একটা সিমিলি লাইক দিয়ে তুলনা করা হয়েছে। নতুন কোনো অসুস্থ রোগীকে হাসপাতাল থেকে ছাড়া পেলে তারা যেমন দুর্বল থাকে, গাছগুলো এখন এই ইনডোর থেকে বেরিয়ে আউটডোরে গেলে তারাও এরকম দুর্বলই থাকবে। সেই তুলনাটাই দিয়েছেন। হাফ ডজড, যেন অর্ধেক ঝিমোচ্ছে, মুভিং, আস্তে আস্তে যাচ্ছে, এগুলো ইট এক্সপ্রেসেস দ্য ফ্র্যাজাইলিটি, ডিসওরিয়েন্টেশন টু দ্য ক্লিনিক ডোরস। ওই ডাক্তারের বা হাসপাতাল বা ক্লিনিকের দরজা দিয়ে রুগীরা যেমন করে বেরিয়ে আসে, গাছগুলো যেন সেইভাবে বাড়ির ভেতর থেকে বেরিয়ে যাওয়ার আপ্রাণ চেষ্টা করছে। হিয়ার উই ফাইন্ড আ রিলেন্টলেস এফোর্ট অফ দ্য ট্রিজ টু ফ্রি দেমসেলভস। They are relentlessly trying to free themselves. Root signifies the deep connection with the nature. The root signifies their connection with the nature. Crack symbolizes the boundaries imposed and created by human. The cracks are the hurdles, the obstacles, the boundaries by which we people confine the tree. They are trying to expose them, they are trying to destroy them, they are trying to liberate themselves. It says of a determined and persistent effort for freedom and growth. It also says of a dynamic change. Actually, all confinement, behind all confinement, there is a cry of freedom. Here we find and feel the cry of freedom of the trees who are unlawfully, unethically confined in our home or our territory of the place where we like to be the trees to be. This is not the natural law. Natural law is that the trees will be in the outdoor, in the forest, in the jungles, on the roadsides, on the riverside. But at present, the trees are confined by the human being. In the third stanza, I sit inside. I means the narrator or the poet. Doors open to the veranda. দরজা খোলা আছে বারান্দার দিকে। Writing long letters. লম্বা চিঠি লিখছেন। In which I scarcely mention the departure. তিনি কিন্তু এই যে the trees are quitting, গাছগুলো যে তার বাড়ি ছেড়ে চলে যাচ্ছে, সেটা কিন্তু তিনি লেখেননি। Of the forest from the house. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines in a sky still open. রাত সতেজ, সুন্দর আকাশ, whole moon shines, চাঁদ শাইনিং ব্রাইটলি, উজ্জ্বল চাঁদ আকাশে। ইন আ স্কাই স্টিল ওপেন, আকাশটা এখনও খোলা। দ্য স্মেল অফ দ্য লিভস অ্যান্ড লিচেন্স, পাতা এবং এমনি লিচেন্স হচ্ছে পোকামাকড়, এগুলো এটা একটা অ্যালিটারেশন, লিভস অ্যান্ড লিচেন্স, যেগুলোর গন্ধ স্টিল রিচেস লাইক আ ভয়েস ইন টু দ্য রুম, সেগুলো যেন কিছু ঘোষণা করতে করতে এখনও বাড়ির মধ্যে চলে আসছে, মানে বাড়ির মধ্যে আছে তো, গাছগুলো আছে। Doors open to veranda. symbolizes the division between the place of confinement and out nature. Inside the house is a place of confinement. Outside the house is the place for freedom. The poet is engaged in personal thought. The poet may be dejected, now engaged in personal thought, but without fully addressing the significant departure of the trees. So he is not fully declaring or addressing the quitting of the tree, the breaking of the confinement of the tree. It is a very melancholic note in this poem. She barely encourages the quitting of the trees. It is human indifference to nature. It is nothing but human indifference to nature. Nature and the freedom of the natural aspects. And the moon says of awakenings, sky still opens inform us unconfined natural world in contrast to the enclosed human campus. Here we find the the narrator is sitting indoor, and there is a veranda in front of him. And outside the veranda, after the veranda, there is the place of freedom. The nature is in full bloom there. The nature is fully present there. But inside the room, there is only confinement. Nature is still alive in the leaves and leaches. But inside the house, inside the human territory, inside the under the roof, the trees are confined. In the last three stanza, we witness how the trees are confined in our territory, which is not at all natural. In the last stanza, the poet says, "My head is full of whisper." মাথায় যেন কে ফিসফিস করে কিছু বলছে, which tomorrow will be silent. কে বলছে? Actually, the trees are trying to tell her something, which tomorrow will be silent. Tomorrow, the next day, there will be no sound because there will be no trees. Listen, the glass is breaking, কাঁচটা ভেঙে যাচ্ছে, শোনো, the trees are stumbling forward, টলমলো পায়ে তারা এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে into the night, এই রাত্রের মধ্যে দিয়ে. Winds rush to meet them, হাওয়া যেন এগিয়ে আসছে তাদের. Winds are giving a guard of honor to the trees who are entering the natural world, entering the forest, entering the jungle. The moon is broken like mirror. চাঁদ যেন আয়নার মতো ভেঙে গেছে. Its pieces flash now in the crown. সেই গাছের মাথায়, ওটাকে ক্রাউন বলছে, সেখানে যেন চকচক করছে. Of all the tallest oak, সব থেকে উঁচু যে গাছ, তার উপরে সে চকচক করছে. Now, actually, in this last stanza, poetess vividly used imagery to explain the climax of the escape of the trees from captivity. How the trees escaped and what is the aftermath. The speaker mind, which is full of words, will be wordless next day because of the absence of the trees. The trees will took away all his words and he will be wordless, whisperless, and he will be silent. With the departure of the trees, this all will happen. There will be a dejection. Though we human are indifferent about the nature, still, if this happens, all the trees and natural elements and natural plants and etc. They move to the forest. We will be really lonely in our house because we decorate our house with these trees. Actually, trees cannot move. But this is a metaphor. This symbolizes that this will happen. This should happen. Otherwise, the balance of the nature will be disturbed. The departure of the trees and the glass is breaking means achieving freedom. The breaking of the glass means achieving freedom. They are overcoming the hurdles, they are overcoming the obstacles. The wind greets the trees because their friends are returning. It is almost like a guard of honor. The metaphor of the fragmented reflection of the moon is indicates a disorder and disruption in nature. Without a disorder or disruption, the moon cannot break like a mirror. The shattered pieces of moon reflects into the top of the branches of the oak tree, symbolizes the reunion of nature and dominance of nature again. This is the natural phenomena, this is the natural incident that should happen, that should go on. But we people confine the nature, confine the natural aspects and other things for our joy and enjoyment. Now, the title is justified, is apt and appropriate. The name of the poem is The Trees. Here everything pivots round the tree. Everything. Each and every line vibrates with the tree and its action. But there is a dual focus on its subject and its central metaphor. The poem literally depicts the physical process of trees quitting from house and the detailing is noteworthy. We read that trees are quitting, they are breaking their confinement, they are achieving freedom. It is in the surface of the poem. It also highlights how we have the main important thing is it expresses how we have confined nature in indoors. We have confined natural aspects in indoors. It is a destruction. It is a destructive nature of a human being and a destructive practice. It actually leads to us an empty forest. Empty forest will give us nothing. Empty forest will make this planet, this four planet empty. So for the survival of this planet, the trees are necessary, and it is necessary in the outdoor, not in the indoor. And metaphorically, in the surface level, the poet beautifully gives how trees are confined, natures are confined, natural aspects are confined, but metaphorically it actually leads us to the cruelty against women. The women are oppressed in this men's world. Like the trees, women are struggling for actual place in society. The tree which are breaking the freedom, struggling for freedom, achieving freedom is similar to the struggle of a woman in this society. In this men's world, women do not get their actual place. So they are also struggling like this, like the trees. They are also fighting for this. They are also trying to break the confinement like the trees. They are also want to achieve freedom in this society. And this is very natural. Freedom is very important aspect of life, not only human life. It is aspect of life. We should have freedom. Without, you cannot carve others' freedom. Freedom is a bright birthright. So we can tell in the essence of the title is aptly correct. And the theme of the confinement, liberation, resistance and struggle for liberty is beautifully woven in this poem, both for the trees and the woman in this society. In conclusion, we can say the poem is hopeful and aspirational. There is a hope that the trees have achieved freedom, is going to achieve freedom. So, woman would also achieve freedom. Contemplative and reflective, because there is a deep thinking, there is a philosophical message, there is a philosophical thinking, and has frustration. Yes, the poem has frustration of confinement, of bondage. Resistance, there is resistance. Any life, any form of life has to face resistance to achieve the freedom. To achieve freedom is not an easy story, is not a cakewalk. To achieve freedom is not a cakewalk. You have to achieve it. You have to struggle for it. And then triumphant. There is a victory. There should be a victory. And also melancholic for the period, for the time that the trees and the woman are struggling to get their or achieve their freedom. Actually, we clearly came to know, we knew it, but we are again reminded by the poetess that how human development has encroached and destroyed natural world and destroying the natural world. We find a conflict between the humanity and nature, and struggle for freedom, liberation and renewal and hope. So with these struggle, with these examples, with these obstacles, with these fightings, and with this hardship, trees and the woman in the society all is going to achieve the victory against their bondage, and they both will be triumphant. This is the optimistic note of this poem.